the blue mac and cheese with the
All
orange
right.
powder.
The crap.
It says we're live.
Well, it lies.
Good morning, noon, afternoon, wherever you are, wherever you may be.
Howdy, y'all.
Yeah, wrong wave, Joel. Yeah. Yeah, it's if we get a wave here, we got a serious problem. Quick update on Murph from Laniap's Lair. He is alive, well, and has a broke computer right now.
He came through last night.
Came through last night, so last night was a rather short night. Yeah, yeah. And he is doing well. He had Marita with him, the three-legged pup, and she was actually very good.
Sweetheart.
So we had no dog fights, and oh my God, she is an attention whore,
Yes.
especially if you give her a treat.
There's quite a bit of pibble in that one.
Yeah, oh yeah, but she's really, truly a good little dog. But yeah, he's on the road doing some traveling, and he said to tell everybody hello, and as soon as he gets his computer fixed, he will be back.
I'd like to riff real quick on the planned Black Hammer community in Colorado.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not exactly sure the details, but I know enough that I really need the 55-gallon drum of popcorn for this. Because apparently, this bunch of Black Liberation schmucks have purchased land at or above the 10,000 foot mark in the Rockies for a planned Black only community.
Go right ahead.
I need popcorn because this is going to be great.
Okay, so federal regulations state that when you're flying an airplane, the crew must be provided supplemental oxygen above 10,000 feet.
Yeah, 10K, yeah.
Right. They want to live
Huh?
above 10K.
Briefly.
So I'm assuming they're going from 10K to whatever the Rockies is 14 something.
Yeah, at least.
Right at 14.5, everybody on board the airplane has to be provided with.
Actually, it's 11,000.
So the pilots have to be on it.
Yeah.
Above 10.
Everybody else has to get it above 11.
Not a civilian aircraft. They just have to be provided.
Yeah, well, all right, technically, yes. Hey, Sanford.
Because we don't care if you're passed out because you're screaming less that way.
Yeah, this is true.
So they're going to live in that area where you're starved for oxygen all the time.
Yeah.
Where altitude sickness
Yeah.
will be a thing.
There.
And I'm willing to bet from the publicity photos I've seen so far, most of them have never been 3 feet away from pavement in their little lives.
Oh, yeah.
How are they going to get everything up there? I mean, there's no roads.
They're going to use an Uber.
Yeah.
Taxis. Don't you know?
Seriously, they're going to Uber their way to the
I
top of a
don't know.
mountain.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, who knows?
I don't know.
I will guarantee you somebody will try that.
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll scream at the Uber driver for not doing it.
Well, this is the same mindset. Apparently, I forget who was telling us this. Dalhart,
Yeah,
up in extreme northwest, deep heart of Texas. As northwest in Texas as you can get, matter of fact. Dalhart, population 800 and a dog.
on a good day.
On a good day, apparently wound up with some overflow from an illegal immigrant holding facility.
Oh,
And apparently a couple of DC types went out there to inspect or do something. I'm sure they were much appreciated and wanted to know when the Uber would pick them up when they got to Dalhart. The Uber is Frank in his 67 pickup.
Yeah.
When you get in the back, don't break the fishing rod.
yeah. Yep, that's about the size of it.
The dog rides up front, you ride in the back.
Hey,
Good.
Jonna.
The overflow. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So they're touting the fact that there's no longer overcrowding in the
Donna facility.
the border protection facility.
Because they overflow everywhere else.
Right. No.
Oh, better.
So there's these 5 tents. That's the border protection facility.
It was 110.
That the kids are in, right?
Yeah.
If you pan across
Yeah.
in the same compound, There's 12 tents.
Yeah. That are
Those,
DHS.
these
now.
are owned by HHS, yes, Health and Human Services, and all the kids have been moved over to there.
Oh,
So while the Dems are saying, hey, see, we're taking care of the overflow problem, that's only because they've transferred them out of BP and into
Yeah.
HHS. And it's
it's a shell game.
It
They're
is.
looking for the P.
yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, if Trump had tried this, oh my God, they'd have been all over it.
Yeah.
And they would have said, no, you see, he's lying. And
Yeah.
the fact checkers would
Fact
have
checkers
gotten,
are everywhere.
he would have gotten 4 Pinocchios or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Josh, Dalhart's got cows, oil, not much else. They don't need anything else.
No.
They're pretty much self-sufficient on
I see.
those 3 items.
The Uber is Frank in his 67 Ford pickup. The dog rides up front, you ride the back, don't break the fishing poles.
Yeah.
And the beer cans are there for ambiance.
Yeah.
he signed up for Uber as a joke when he was drunk once.
Yeah.
And he's the only guy in Dalhart.
He's the only guy in Dalham County, and he didn't really have his heart in it.
Yeah. I may be getting kicked off Facebook, so I'll just give you a heads up.
What'd you do?
I posted an article this morning from Valentina Zarakova, who is a Russian scientist currently working in England at one of the universities. I've been following her now for about 5 years. And she has done some very, very interesting work on solar minima. And stepping back, she started looking at solar minima and what the impact was on the climate.
Goodness.
Yeah, what a novel concept.
That great big hurdy ball in the sky has
Yeah.
that kind of climate. Who'd have guessed?
Yeah. Well,
no, you don't understand. It's cows.
Oh,
Yeah.
cows.
It's cows all the way down.
yeah. So anyway, she is predicting that we're going to see a drop in global climate temperature by up to 1 full degree centigrade in the next 20 to 30 years because of the solar minima. She is estimating we're in the 400-year window for a grand Maunder minima, which is extremely low. And if you look at the solar cycles, thanks, Josh. Yeah, that's why I'm on MeWe most of the time now. But if you look at the last couple of solar cycles, the amount of solar flares is almost nil. Yeah, you're right, Steph. The Carter administration did do that study. However, that is, that's been buried because,
Which Stephanie is that?
Midwest chick.
Okay.
I just love the fact that he's following a Russian scientist. His entire career has been following a Russian scientist.
Yeah, well, hey, we got good science out of the Russians. They actually knew how to do stuff. And they used elegant math. They didn't crunch it on a computer. They actually figured it out by hand.
That's because they didn't have a computer.
Yes, but their science worked.
When the abacus was still in one piece.
Yeah.
Man, and
Well, some of those avocados were not cold weather proof for Siberia.
nope.
And Stephanie Osborne's also on here.
Ah,
Hello, Steph. Good to see you. I'm sure that this is something that you're probably intimately familiar with your work.
actually, Stephanie Osborne was the one that first turned me on to Zhukova's
Yes.
work.
Yep, that was quite a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
But it's very interesting to watch the
Fact checkers at work.
fact checkers at work. Yeah, and it definitely does knock down the Aurora Borealis, which
Oh,
Well,
those are absolutely, for those of you that have not been up north, they are absolutely stunning. And they are bright enough that you can literally read a book by them.
you can track people by the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
I can remember when I was a kid and I was building my cross country time. I was flying home in southern Minnesota, and we must have been in the middle of a flare cycle because I caught the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah.
And I watched it for about a half hour past my destination. I had to turn around and come back.
The other thing that was interesting is SpaceX had a successful landing.
Stop the
Yesterday.
landing.
They stuck it, it didn't blow up, and there was a minor fire,
Man,
which some of the people are guessing, and I use that term loosely, that it was probably the spent fuel that was draining out of the drain lines is what caught fire.
It didn't have a rapid unscheduled disassembly.
Yeah,
So they're 1 for 5.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, rocket experiments.
yeah.
Well,
The judges gave the
Better
landing
than
a
the-
9.8.
way better than the U.S.
Yeah.
The U.S.'s early space program was just a series of explosions.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm old enough that I remember that.
Well, in my Nigerian space program story, my dad had a throwaway joke in that when we lit the first bamboo rocket that was packed full of black powder at Pinwheel down the street. Dad said, "Oh, Russian design."
Yeah.
He actually said that. that's
Well, the Russians had a whole better. Their early space program had a lot more success than ours did.
official.
Yeah.
I think they scattered a lot more parts across Siberia than they let on.
Well, they scored more of the rocket equipment from the Nazis than we
Yeah.
did. We got the scientists.
But they got the hard and fast equipment, the
Yeah.
hard tech. Yeah, Sanford, 20% success rate with experimental tech is fantastic. Trust me, I've done R&D for a living for a while, and no,
Yeah, they.
if you're hitting 20%, you're doing really well.
I just find it interesting that they chose to do the 50 sci-fi landing, where you're landing on the rockets,
Yeah.
versus a glide-in like the shuttle.
Well,
I'm with
if you try to do a glide-in landing, now you're increasing the weight,
But you have all
Wings.
those. Well, yeah,
and you're increasing the movement. You're changing the center of gravity.
And you're limiting where it can land.
they could have done it like the old ME 190. What was the rocket plane?
The 193.
Well, yeah, the 183.
Yeah,
Where when it came for landing, a skid popped down,
yeah.
and that was it. So you really weren't adding a lot of weight for a gear system.
Yeah.
You had a skid pop down. It skidded to a halt. Covered it.
I will guarantee you, Elon Musk read every 1950 science fiction book he'd get his paws on as a child.
Now Stephanie's right. Style points.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I'll
Well,
give it-
if you look at it, I mean, the very first of the SNs I saw on the rocket pad, I said, that's a cover. That's a cover from a 1950s pulp science fiction novel.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like something beyond an early Heinlein novel.
And Joel says the way God and Robert Heinlein intended.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It's just a.
But it's, the science is going on in spite of the administration.
Oh yeah, and
And-
they are throwing up. They are throwing up roadblocks left, right,
Yeah.
center.
Well, they throttled the Aerojet
Yeah.
engine, which drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It's orders of magnitude more efficient to get you into orbit when you can vary the nozzle thrust for the altitude, so you always have an efficient.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Oh, okay. That's Brennan Hankins. He was saying Stephanie shared that report. Yeah, that's true.
Was it?
I thought Stephanie was on here. It was actually Brendan Hankins
Oh.
making the reference to Stephanie. But yeah, that's
She's the one that turned me on to
Yeah.
Zhukova. Back when Zhukova's pretty much slipstick back envelope calculations were solving some of the issues with the sun cycles.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, congratulations on your award, Brennan. That was
Oh.
outstanding.
What did Brendan get?
He got a attaboy for the rescue of the guy in the shooting incident up in his hometown,
Well done.
across the street.
Well done.
Yeah.
congratulations.
But the other thing that was interesting, I put up some old ads on my Facebook this morning, or on my blog this morning. And one of the questions that I asked was, what ad stuck in your head from the past? And there has been an amazing number of answers to
What
that.
is, oh, what a relief it is.
Yeah. But the funny part, we were chatting before we got started about the Frito Bandito and Speedy Gonzalez, which the Mexicans love, as Beans pointed out in the post. And they do.
Yeah.
Because the Mexicans win. In both those cases, the Mexicans win.
Whenever a Warner Brothers cartoon comes on in Mexican theater and it's Speedy Gonzalez, the cheering will blow out your eardrums.
Yeah. Yeah. And Joel says, when somebody writes the story of SpaceX, the Heinlein estate will be asking for royalties. Yeah, that's another good one, John. Slowpoke Rodriguez, Speedy's
Yeah,
Speedy's cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speedy's gunslinging cousin.
But some of
Speaking of gunslinging, the Texas Senate passed constitutional carry last night.
yeah,
So now it's up to
Well,
reconciliation with the House and then on to the.
Well, GOA, which tends to be a little panicky, says there's poison pills in it, but won't release the text that they claim is poison pills. So I'm not sure. Hopefully somebody will pull their head out and show me exactly what poison pills you're talking about.
yeah.
Speaking of old TV ads, you see that Domino's is bringing back the Noid
Yeah.
to cover up the fact that they're getting rid of their drivers.
Yeah.
Their
Domino's losing their drivers?
Domino's is not losing them. They're bringing in self-driving delivery vehicles.
Yeah.
I hope
It's
they've got.
basically just a warming box.
Yeah.
With a
I hope,
guidance system.
I hope like hell they've got a annuity set aside for paying off the people they run over.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the Domino's lawyers were involved. They figured out that it's cheaper
Yeah.
to cover the insurance cost than to have a driver at $15 an hour.
I want to see what happens the first time they send one of those into a Section 8 housing area.
Okay. It'll drop off the pizzas and come back without the hubcaps
You'll
or the
come,
tires.
you'll come back crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just no.
Why are you arming a robot car? Martin Luther King Boulevard. Oh,
When you because when you look at it, it costs X amount for a driver in a car.
Yeah.
Now the technology involved in a self-driving car.
Yeah.
Is God knows what, then God knows how expensive. But now that's become economically cheaper than having to pay a guy at $15 an hour with his own car.
Yeah.
And Josh says that won't work out here. Besides, self-driving cars don't work well when you have a tractor on the road. Yes. Well,
Well-
most things don't work well when you have a friggin' tractor on the road.
Does everybody remember that robot that was going to go coast to coast in the U.S.? It went across Europe
Mhm.
and run
Yeah.
over here, and it was going to drive itself coast to coast.
Yeah.
And wound up in Boston in a fountain rift.
Yeah. Going to, yeah.
That and self-driving pizza cars.
Yeah.
Oh, what could go wrong here?
Well,
Sanford, I'm sure we can fix you up with a Rock Island 45 somewhere around here. When he comes down, he wants a Rock Island 45. We can find you one.
I think Ted had a Rock
Yeah.
Island last time I was in there.
why Rock Island?
He
Not the
got-
modern Rock Island. He wants the old World War II Rock Island.
I don't know, but we'll find him something. Yeah, drones. They're going to do drones and shotguns. Pull.
So when you think about it, Domino's has
If you hit him, you get a free pizza.
No kidding.
Domino's always had a 30-minute delivery area,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you've got a limited area. You're never going to leave that. You can get hyper accurate on the map.
Well,
Right.
I don't think I've told everybody about the saga of Domino's and Bunk Scuffle County Sheriff's Office. My buddy Reno, my law enforcement partner for Yoinks, was working a shift at the jail, and he contacted Domino's because man had an appetite. Well, Domino's showed up 35 minutes later. Reno said,
Free.
"Yeah, Reno said that's a free pizza." The guy said, "Oh, come on, man! It comes out of my salary. You can't." And Reno says, "Give me my pizza." And delivery guy says, "No, you got to pay for it." So Reno gets his license, goes in, runs him, finds out he has a warrant, has patrol come in and
Arrest the pizza.
arrested him.
Not the pizza.
Not the pizza, and Matt had the pizza yoinked, or Reno had the pizza yoinked out of.
Now, technically, that pizza should have been entered into an evidence locker.
Yes, nope, it got yoinked out of evidence locker.
It went into one evidence locker right there.
And Bunk Scuffle County did not order from Domino's for a year after that.
Oh God, yeah, I wouldn't have either.
Yeah, roads were laid out by drunkards. Yeah, that's true too. And Josh says, yeah, then they won't survive in Pittsburgh. That's true.
No, I mean,
They won't survive anywhere
Yeah.
that's got a Martin Luther King Boulevard.
they won't survive anywhere that's got a Democratic party running the city.
Could you imagine one of them getting over on the east side?
No, briefly.
Yeah.
It'd come back crying.
Yeah.
It'd come back across the tracks with a torn paint job, crying, hanging off of one shoulder, crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah, Brennan, I have, it depends on what kind of cameras they're using and which set of modules is driving the car. They did do that one test where they taped over the 35 mile an hour to make it an 8, and the vehicle did try to speed up. Yeah, because it was reading the sign.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they don't have to do that anymore. If you notice,
Yeah,
when
Google's now got.
when you're running your Apple,
Yeah.
it'll give you a little speed limit sign.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not reading.
And if you're on Google Maps and you are 5 miles an hour over what it thinks it will tell you speed exceeded,
Right.
speed exceeded. Like,
Yeah. Murphy is bitching about that in the van that he's driving.
you snitching little.
Yeah, because that's one step away from it.
Yeah,
notifying the police.
yeah, recorded, yes.
Yes, Joel, you can actually trick them with salt and make them go in a circle and never get outside the circle.
Because they're following the yellow line.
White line.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay. If it's trapped by salt circles,
Yeah.
I've written stories about this.
You got to remember though, that test was done a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have the maps they have now.
Right.
But even with that, it still looks for that white line, depending on which system it's
I
running.
know Thing
Yeah.
One's Tesla. Thing One bought a Tesla.
Yeah.
She came into an inheritance and bought a Tesla. You know on 287 where they ground away the old and
Yeah.
put in the new, that confuses her Tesla.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's usually,
Don't go hands free in her Tesla anywhere where it might get confused.
Oh,
okay.
Josh says, okay, Mr. Pizza Drone, show us where the Escalade touched you.
You know those pizza drones are gonna come back and they're gonna be tagged the first time.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
God, yes.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay,
No, Brennan, it was actually a modern van, not yours.
And there's going to be kids laying in the street in front of the drone. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh god, yeah.
Polka will live forever, Sanford. Whatever.
Polka
Yeah.
will live for, he's not wrong.
That's a Dresden Files reference.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, I've written stories about things that were contained in salt circles.
Yeah.
And I believe the brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen did the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was growing up, they still had PE, right?
Yeah.
I know as opposed to now, I don't know if they do or not. And in junior high, part of one quarter's PE class was dance class.
Yeah.
And you would do it with the girls' PE class that was the same hour as yours. You'd
Right.
go and do it. And growing up in Minnesota that I did, guess what they taught in dance class?
What?
Polkas, schottisches, and waltzes.
Oh boy.
Ooh, and the foxtrot.
I like the foxtrot. That's just me.
Yeah. You talk about maps. All maps have errors in them on purpose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Historically.
that was how the various map companies basically copyrighted their maps, was they would purposely put errors in them.
And if they looked at a map and saw a town that didn't exist, they'd put on their maps. They knew you joined the map.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, they would do it for streets in towns.
Yeah.
San Francisco, the Thomas Guide for San Francisco had 4 streets that were false. They were done on purpose.
You
See
find-
that one.
So you-
And they had to notify all the ambulance and fire companies. They didn't tell the police, but they told the ambulance and fire companies, these 4 streets do not exist. Do not mark them off on your maps.
See, if I bought a Thomas Guide and I tried to turn on a street and wasn't there, I would go back. Somebody's building would be on fire.
I mean, if I
Well,
were
that's usually why they're responding. So,
if I were of the illegal bent and I wanted to give an address that I knew they couldn't find me on, I would use
Yep.
one of those streets.
Yep. Well, there for a long time. There used to be a town in Pennsylvania that did exist.
Yeah.
And I forget which map company had this town in Pennsylvania that
that was Rand McNally.
was Rand
Yeah.
McNally.
Okay.
There was this town in Pennsylvania that did exist.
Yeah.
It's not the same town that's got the coal mine on fire
No,
underneath it.
no. This is one that they put on their atlas so you can tell somebody yoinked their maps. And I used that town as my place of residence. 112 Main Street, Seabury.
Seabury, yeah.
I don't remember what the fake town was, but I used that and
Started with an S.
What if it has a postal code?
Yeah.
Or-
there's a lot of records that have me at this town.
Yeah. But I got to tell you a funny one about Celeste, my youngest daughter, paramedic. And this was when I was still living in DC. About 10:30 one night, I get this phone call. And it's like, Daddy, are you awake? Yes. Are you anywhere near your computer? Yes. Why? Can you give me directions? And I went, huh? What? She goes, we're lost. And I went, what do you mean, we're lost? She says, well, we're supposed to be taking this patient, but our navigation died and the Thomas guide doesn't work out here. And so I'm having to navigate her remotely from Washington, D.C. over the internet and a phone call to get her to the hospital she was supposed to be at. And oh, by the way, it was called.
Nice.
So I'm telling her, go on, 163 or whatever it was. Okay, have you found that yet? Yeah, we just went by it. Okay. Turn around, go back, turn left on that road. Okay, it's 15 miles, and then you're going to turn left on this road, and then it's 10 miles, you're going to turn right on the other road. And then she comes back and says, well, that's nice, but the damn trip odometer doesn't work on this thing either.
You got a stopwatch?
Yeah. But they finally got the patient there and got him to the right hospital, and he lived. So that was a good thing.
See now.
Bullfighting with self-driving cars. Oh, jeez.
Jousting with self-driving cars. You take,
Yeah.
take a lance to each one, and then you ordered for a house at the opposite end of the board.
I'm just thinking of all those kids that grew up cow tipping.
Oh God, yeah.
Self-driving car tipping is going to become a thing.
Yeah.
I just remember when I was a kid, we had MapQuest and we printed out those, and we were happy.
Well, AAA used to give you trip maps.
Oh,
Yeah, they'd give you this strip.
Yeah.
Which had maybe 5 miles on either side of you didn't know,
Yeah.
You're like, I'm on empty. I need to get to the gas station. Well, it doesn't show where it is. You don't know if any towns are nearby.
I discovered that if you're going lengthwise up the handle of Oklahoma, the only gas stations are 5 miles off that spine road. It's just
Oh, try coming across California desert at 3 o'clock in the morning, low on gas.
I had a van for inmates and I was running on fumes and I couldn't find a gas station that would take the cards the county issued.
Panhandle on the side of the road.
So how many
About 10,000 inmate.
how many inmates do you have?
I
Because
had 4.
if you hook them up with the leads, you can get them, just like the stagecoach.
Yep. Put it neutral. Oops, sorry guys, what the neutral?
Yeah. They're going back and forth about the Zeleny. This Auto da Fe short story.
What?
The Zeleny, Roger Zelany's Auto da Fe short story.
I'm not familiar with it.
It was, the Zelany's weird anyway.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. And it was a little over the top.
Hell of a storyteller.
Well, yeah, Cedar, anybody that's smart that has driven a lot, when they start getting below a half a tank, they start looking for a gas station. Because in this day, well, and if you're an old fart like I am, you can remember looking for gas stations just about the time you left the last one. Because in this part of the country, there are not a lot of gas around, much less in the middle of the friggin' night.
Yeah, we started at the west end. We were actually coming back from Denver and got a call and we had to divert to Oklahoma to pick up some more. And we came across New Mexico at Capulin.
Yeah.
And hit the main road run right down the middle of the Oklahoma Panhandle. And Sinclair gas stations were the only thing that
Yeah.
had fuel, did not take any cards we had on board, and were 5 miles north and south of the road.
Yeah.
It's frustrating as hell.
When you get into old stagecoach country,
Yeah.
or old railroad country,
Yeah,
it's every
no
30
kidding.
miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sanford, I know the gas station you're talking about between the Indio and Arizona line on I-10. I coasted into that son of a bitch about 3 o'clock one morning because where I'd planned on getting gas before I left was closed.
Yep.
I can remember plowing through a blizzard in North Dakota, and I got to the one gas station between me and the Canadian border, and the pumps were from the 50s.
Yeah.
The number, the price per gallon number didn't dial high enough.
Yeah.
You had to add $2 to whatever it said.
Oh yeah. Well, we were chatting about that the other day in one of the other groups I'm in, talking about the 60s, growing up in the 60s, driving in the 60s, and complaining about 35 cents a gallon gas
Oh yeah.
because we were only making $1.25 if we were making that. And our cars were getting anywhere from 6 to 10 miles a gallon.
You could,
Pass everything to the gas station.
there was still no such thing as self-serve.
Oh, no.
So you'd roll down the window and you go, $1, please, and he would pump 4 gallons.
Well, that was full service. And I remember the cheapest I ever got was 8 cents a gallon for premium down in Houston in the basement of the Exxon building or the Humble building.
I got that once in 2005 at a Kroger's.
8 cents a gallon?
Yeah, so Kroger's had this deal where instead of points, you could take it as cents off per gallon.
Oh.
And when they first started it, they didn't realize that you could shop enough to get free gas.
Yeah.
Oh.
So because I was flying all the time, I racked up. I was only home for like 4 days every 2 weeks. I racked up, a bunch of Kroger cents, and I went up to the gas pump and put in my number, and it said like 2 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Josh, if you have a story, rewrite it and submit it, and we'll get it to a guy. It has to originate in a trailer park. But he's doing a series of short stories from a bunch of different authors called It Came from the Trailer Park, and it's going to come out in Halloween, around Halloween. And the due date on it is July. So seriously, write it, get it to us, and we'll put it in for you. Not driving the Alcan in winter. No, thank you. I've flown over it. I've been up there. I went north of the Arctic Circle in a Taurus in March, which was stupid, but we survived it.
I do deserts and jungles.
Yeah.
Arctic tundra is not my thing.
Never driven Arctic. I've flown Arctic. We went into Dead Horse.
Oh, that's a fun airport, isn't it?
Yeah, it's technically not on land.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Out on pack ice?
yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
The overruns are actually on the ice pack.
Yeah.
Wow.
So with a big, heavy airplane, you get into the overrun and it starts doing this.
And trust me, when you've got one drill bit for the ocean type drilling platforms, you are heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, it's fun up there, though. It's
No, it wasn't. We went up there in February. It was not. No, we didn't shut down the airplane because it was going to freeze solid.
well, they kicked our asses off, and then we got on a Twin Otter and went out to Ice Camp Appalachia, 200 miles out in the Beaufort Sea.
Yeah,
That was cold.
we had.
Why?
These are 50s vintage Falcons. We had over the wing fueling only,
Oh, joy.
and we couldn't shut the engines down because they would have frozen solid.
Yeah.
So we dropped engines running. The poor line guy is standing almost in the cone of intake,
Yeah.
trying to put fuel in the wings. Poor guy. Yeah, I wasn't standing out there to fuel the airplane.
Well,
Josh, the only requirement is it has to start or
That's
end in a
involved-
trailer park.
That's involved trailer park.
Yeah, I've seen those 250 miles to the next gas station in a car that barely would make 250 miles on a tank of gas.
Last chance for gas.
Yeah.
I've seen Last Chance for Gas at Timbuktu in the Sahara, and they're bloody well serious when they say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if you filled up the tank, you'd still need 2 or 3 extra jerry cans to get
Yeah.
to the next one.
Well, I have cousins that were over there as missionaries 3 years ago now, and the daughter broke her arm pretty badly, and they couldn't fly her out, so they had to caravan
Oh,
up to Ethiopia,
I can imagine the roads on a broken arm.
and it was like 600 miles.
What the hell was a woman doing missionary south of Ethiopia?
The whole family was over there.
I say get my
It's
last.
one of the missionary schools. I know.
Hey, in Angola,
Yeah.
to go from Luanda to any of the towns in the interior, you still have to caravan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or I should say, convoy.
But it was 600 miles, and it took them 5 days
Yeah.
because the only time the gas stations were open was during daylight
During
hours.
daylight hours. Yeah, I know.
And if you weren't there in line at sunrise, they ran out of gas. You got no gas.
And every time you had to cross the river, you were in line.
Some
Yeah.
of the towns in Angola were only open at night.
Really?
Because that's when they would. So Wombo has 2 of these semi-trailer sized generators.
Mhm.
You know, and they only run them at night. So Wombo is not open during the day because there's no electricity. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not connected to any kind of grid, not much less a national one.
Yeah.
Angola and National Grid don't fit in the same sentence.
Yeah.
No, there are some towns on the border that are supposedly leeching power off of Namibia.
Yeah.
Because Namibia, being an ex-German colony, was very efficient and organized.
Now, this
Africa.
does not surprise me. Koala says, she says, I have my own binder for road trips, Screw GPS. I have the hidden gem rest stops and gas stations mapped out on paper for all their trips.
I used to
Why
have
does
a,
that sound like Rita?
yeah, no kidding.
No,
I've got a map case somewhere that's got a whole bunch of laminated, folded gas station.
Yeah.
With China marker notes all over.
I will admit that I have planned my travel, my route along the Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives website.
Rita has planned trips to conventions, including the National Rifle Association annual meeting, around places we can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives.
Well, we went down to Houston. It's I swear to God, my little Darwin's primary reason going to Houston was this Belgian cafe in Houston.
Yeah.
Food was fantastic, but
Oh, there's this.
And the Belgian Cafe in Salt Lake City or in
Oh.
Ogden,
Provo,
Provo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
There's this-
Belgian waffles that shut down, and she was almost in tears.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't go to that Jewish deli in Houston.
Hey, there was a Jewish deli there.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, was it good?
If you tell Rita, we will next time.
It's Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives has done it. So if you folks go to that website, you can find it.
Yeah.
It's in Houston. It is really good.
Yeah. I use a Rand McNally also.
I've got a whole bunch of folding, laminated.
I
Rand
use-
McNally.
Yeah.
Rand McNally used to do that for DFW.
Yeah.
It was this
Yeah.
laminated folding
Yeah.
thing, and you'd unfold it. And I mean,
Yeah.
that lived next
For
to my-
years, I mean, up through the 70s, well, up through early 70s when I went to Hawaii, I used a 1968 SO map to drive across the United States.
Even after the interstates came in.
And the interstates were dotted lines on it.
Proposed path.
Yes.
But no, you used to be able to go to a gas station, you get the Rand McNally laminated folding map for Texas and Oklahoma and New Mexico, and I just pick one. Whenever I was going somewhere, I'd make notes in the margins with China marker, and I'd stick it in my map case.
In Fort Worth, there used to be in Dallas, there used to be a Rand McNally store.
Really?
Literally, Rand McNally owned a store that just sold
Yeah.
Oh,
Rand
wow.
McNally
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
Yeah.
And it was right next to Addison Airport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Brennan, just give us a heads up. We'll find a place to put you up. We'll feed you. He's coming down this way next month.
We'll introduce him to Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
Ruin him for anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, Ross got me outside of some Murph from Lanyap's, he got on the outside of some Rafter J barbecue without quickness last night, didn't
Yeah. Yeah, SO maps were probably the best gas station maps in existence because SO paid Rand McNally large dollars to give them those maps. Yeah,
And plus they still have the Pony Express routes on
yeah,
he? I used to get so mad. I liked doing inmate transports by myself.
Yeah.
Because I'd turf the inmate out wherever the hell he or she was going, and I'd go find somewhere to eat.
Yeah.
But every other officer that I ever did transport with wanted to go to McDonald's or Sonic.
yeah.
I can kind of understand Sonic. Do you know why? McDonald's puts pickles on their burgers? Because the sugar content is so high and everything else, it would be labeled a confectionery if they didn't.
Okay.
Brennan, branding iron is not bad. We will take you to a better place than that.
Branding iron is okay.
The other thing
It's
Branding
not
Iron
all
really
that. Yeah, it's
has
not all
for
that.
it is it's got the barbecue mystique. So you pick up a tray
Right.
and he slops stuff on the tray.
Right.
Yeah,
Branding iron is decent. Prime's is better, but there's no place to sit and eat because when Prime's was started back in 1912, they didn't have a dining room.
Yeah.
And
and
since-
he's not joking. They literally have been here since 1912.
Oh, you walk in and it looks straight out of that.
It hasn't changed since 1912.
Yeah.
But Rafter J is better. Rafter J is much better barbecue than the Brandon Iron.
McKinney, I really think it does because they trim less fat, so their sliced brisket is juicier.
Mhm.
And I love their smoked chicken.
Yeah.
But I honestly got prefer Rafter J's barbecue sauce
Oh yeah,
and their ribs.
the ribs in
And-
Rafter J are fantastic.
Yeah, and Brennan, John is referring to Chewy's, is an actual Mexican restaurant in town.
It's not actually called Chewy's
Chewy's the owner. It's
Yeah.
actually Cafe Gutierrez.
Yeah,
or La Familia Gutierrez. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Something. Chewy is the guy he's the knuckle dragger that runs it.
He's the guy that was smart enough to chain his nana in the back
Yeah.
and make all the food.
You're no kidding, right?
yeah,
Handmade flour tortillas. And I swear
Which
to
you
God,
can use for a parachute.
they're as big as an elephant's foot.
Yeah. if not
they are
bigger.
probably literally a foot across.
Oh, bigger than that.
Yeah,
Some of them.
they're.
Well, that's the small one.
Yeah, they're not ever the same size because
Yeah.
Nana, depending on how irritated Nana is, if the chain's chafing,
Right.
she doesn't make them as big as the rest of them.
And then they've got a burrito challenge.
Oh God, no.
It's a 7-pound burrito.
Yeah,
You have 45 minutes. You can't get up.
you're not allowed to die. It's there in the rules.
Yeah, it's and you're allowed fluids. You can drink.
Yeah.
And if it's over 7 pounds, you only have to finish 7 pounds. of it.
7 pounds
Yeah.
of it. Because Nana just starts slopping stuff into a burrito.
Yeah.
Well, first off, they start off with 3 of her gigantic flour tortillas.
Yeah.
3 of them, and then just piles.
And then everything up to and including the kitchen sink and hot dogs.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only place I've ever known that puts hot dogs in a burrito.
Well, I gotta imagine that if it were Hawaii or England, there'd be Spam in the burrito. I mean, it's just a
Point.
Chili Verde Conrad's is excellent.
Chuy's is the only place in Wichita that you can actually get chicken mole, which
Yeah.
oh, that's
Which
so good.
my little
Oh,
lady loves. Now Carlitos here in small town
Yeah.
is fantastic. If you like coastal Mexican, Fiesta Mariachi
Yeah.
has coastal Mexican.
They have flan.
A lot of fish.
Oh,
Yeah.
love fish.
And
Oh, if you
Brennan,
go to- if you go
Brennan says in all caps, eating challenge accepted.
If you go to Fiesta Mariachi, you have to get the burrito loco.
Now,
No, what's it
now
called?
Pina Loco.
Pina loco.
Yeah,
Because
It's a fajita.
it's a fajita, and they serve it in a grilled pineapple.
Yeah.
Half of the grilled
Half of a
pineapple.
grilled pineapple. They hollow it out. And it's all in there. It's got pineapple. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's good. It's
Oh, God,
Josh, y'all are more than welcome to come by here too.
yeah.
We've got 2 steakhouses.
Yeah.
Um,
Good steakhouses.
We've got 2 steakhouses owned by the by opposite sides of the same family.
Feuding sides of the same family.
Yeah.
Could this be any more Texas?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have their own ranch where they get the meat from.
And it's the McBride family, and the two sides of it are currently feuding.
Yes.
So they've opened steakhouses on opposite sides of town.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about McBride's is you can't get prime rib on the weekends, only on Thursday.
Only on Thursday.
Well, that's because they want to get more business on Thursday.
Well, I understand.
And they're going, ain't no way in hell I'm going to do prime rib on the weekend with all these assholes coming in.
No kidding, right?
They'd have to get a herd every weekend. But
Yeah.
They do. McBride's prime ribs some of the best I've ever had.
Yeah.
okay.
It's really good. And that includes Pelicans.
God, we could talk for an hour about the restaurant of the food, didn't we?
I think the best prime rib I have ever had, believe it or not, was in Hawaii.
God, that had to have been expensive.
Actually, no, this was back in the 70s.
Still, for
There was a little place in Haleiwa out on the point that about once a month would do prime rib.
Ah.
And they would do a baseball cut of prime rib. And it literally would melt in your mouth, and it was like $8. Of course, back in the 70s, that was expensive.
Yeah.
Back in the
Yeah.
teens, that was kind of expensive.
because they're inputting. I mean, how many cows can you grow in Hawaii? 2, maybe 3?
Oh, no, there are ranches over there. Maybe there are big ranches in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's just there's no way they can support.
Honest to God, if
They export beef to the States.
Do they?
Yes.
you're talking
Huh.
beef, and I do love me some beef. If I had a choice between Brazilian picana or prime rib, picana every day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they've got a great strain of cattle. Speaking of great strains of cattle, Mears.
Oh, Mears.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. This
I
is
told
not,
you all you'd like it.
This is not. You know, I stumbled on it from Diners, Drive-Ins, and
Was
Dives.
it was you that I sent up there.
Yeah, we went up there.
Yeah,
I didn't get to go. I had to work. But Mears, they do. It's all Longhorn.
Yeah.
And Mears Steakhouse. What's
No, it's a hamburger joint.
Their thing is a gigantic cheeseburger, and they're in an old National Geographic Society seismic monitoring station.
Yeah.
Right, but they built onto it without any rhyme or reason.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely zero rhyme or reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's this. Okay, here's a landing, a couple of tables, and then you'll go up like 3.5 steps.
Yeah.
And there'll be another section with
And then-
tables and
And
everything.
then you'll go up another 3/4 step and down a 6-inch walkway
Yeah.
into another big room. It's
Yeah.
like,
It-
why is this here?
They just kind of like,
But when you're in line, because Mears, you're if you don't get there early, you're gonna be in line
Yeah.
for a Longhorn cheeseburger.
okay.
When you're in line, you get to walk right past the seismograph and look at all of the earthquakes.
Yeah. And Josh says, Koala now wants green chili burritos. Sorry. Didn't mean to do it to you on purpose.
Oh. And
Bill's catfish.
the tamales out of Chewy's.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah.
They're the size.
Christmas tamales.
They're the size of an iPhone.
They're literally that big.
Yeah. And well,
I
she'll
don't
do
know.
them year round.
Yeah.
You just have to
I
order
don't
a week
know.
ahead.
Those
I don't think they do them year round.
I've called and they said, yeah, give us a week.
those
And you've been holding out on us and didn't tell us this.
those drug deal tamales I got from that little lady at the Manor were just God.
Yeah.
Rita told me about some drug deal tamales at the liquor store down on 369 and 287.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta be quick.
Yeah.
He's never there.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
was
be
there
quick.
once this year, and
Apparently he's there whenever he feels like it.
Yeah.
And you got about 3.2 seconds before he sells out.
yeah, it's just,
Josh says Koala's now pulling out the head screen chilies. Sorry. Yeah, you're going to eat good. Thanks, asshole.
but we've got
We're out of green chilies.
Bill's Catfish Shack
Yeah.
up across the border.
That's an hour drive, but it's
It's
well worth it.
Worth
Okay,
it. Worth it.
now we're getting into the Texas idea of where to go to eat because the whole concept is we'll drive 3 hours for a dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a hop skip here in Texas.
And your point is?
I'm just a lot of people out there they don't understand that when we say it's an hour drive but it's worth it. Or what we're really saying is of the local restaurants.
Yeah. Well, Bill's Catfish Shack, it
It's-
literally is in Oklahoma.
Yeah, just over the border.
There's no signage at
Yeah.
Bill's.
Yeah, no.
None. The only way you can tell that anything that's going on is the fact that there's 2 miles of parked cars around
Yeah.
it.
It's a double wide.
Yeah.
Sitting on the side of a 2-lane road.
With absolutely no signs whatsoever.
No signs, no nothing. But
If you don't know about Bills, you'll drive right past it.
yeah,
And the thing is, there's parking for about 20 cars in his parking
lot.
lot. His lot.
Yeah.
And but whenever we get there, they're parked up and down the side of the road for a half mile.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
But I was talking to him one night when we
Okay,
actually
sure.
did get in there early enough. And he came around and asked how we were doing. I said, very good. Love it. Love the fish camp style cuts on the fillets. And I said, just out of curiosity, I said, how big is your area that people come from? He goes, no, probably a couple 100 miles. I went, what? And he says, well, there's one guy in here from Kansas tonight.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
the guy had driven from Kansas to come have fish. It's like, okay, this is good.
He makes his hush puppies with a funnel.
Yeah, it's like he's recruiting Christmas
Yes, we've
cookies.
been to Willie's, Brennan.
We've been to Willie's. Willie's
Yeah.
is not bad.
Willie's place has nanner pudding every Friday. Every Friday.
Banana pudding.
Yes.
Actually, there's another burger joint that's better than. Now the nanner pudding at Willie's is
Yeah.
first rate.
Yeah.
But if you're going burger, what's it over on Midwestern?
Ronnie's.
Ronnie's.
Ronnie's. Yeah.
Ronnie's does better burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
you too,
trimmings-
Steph. Have a good week.
The trimmings, you want to go to Willie's. If
Yeah.
you're after the burger,
The thing about Willie's is if you friend his Willie's place on Facebook, he has a word that gets you 15% off the basket of the day.
Yeah.
oh really?
And it's always some kind of phobia.
I tells you something about Willie's.
It's almost impossible to pronounce.
Yeah.
Crypto-klepto-phobia. Okay, that's close enough.
Raptor, I've actually been to Purgatory before. When NRA was in Pittsburgh, we went over there. We had dinner over there.
The
Frank James and I did.
uh,
That was a good burger.
there's a lot of places in Itchy Paw that are it's supposed to be world class. I'm not all that impressed by it.
I've had
Yeah.
a lot of bad luck in Pittsburgh with restaurants.
Yeah.
Like seeing one that looked really good, walking the 2 miles from the hotel to get there, and it's no longer open.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
The,
Frank and I did not want to go with the kids
Ah.
that were going to Twin Peaks or something like that.
Cafe Manana
Yeah,
Cafe
that's what it
Manana
was. Still to kill. Yeah.
in Itchy Paw is supposed to be fantastic. I prefer just about anywhere for good Mexican is better than Cafe Manana.
Yeah.
Although I need to take you two to the Cafe Manana all you can eat buffet.
El Norteño is good.
Valentini's
That's good.
excellent.
Yeah.
Which I prefer El Norteño number 2
Yeah.
over number 1. And I don't
Yeah.
have any real reason. I've had
Is that
better
the one on
meals there.
Southwest?
Yeah.
The number one I think used to be the Bat Cafe.
Yeah.
What's the Spanish word for bat? Used to be a Bat Cafe, and it was you had to be careful what you ordered.
Yeah.
Cieleta Linda, pretty bad or something. Anyway, and then somebody got one too many devil turds in the hot sauce, and they got bought out by El Norteño.
Yeah. Chuy's is notorious for that every
Oh,
once in a
God.
while.
Okay, two places, Chuy's and Carlitos have their own unique salsa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Carlitos theirs is all what's that, smoked jalapeno? Chipotle's.
Chipotle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Adobo?
Chipotle base.
You mean the
Yeah,
adobo?
adobo Chipotle base.
Yeah.
Chewy, on the other hand, takes a 30-gallon old oil drum and he fills it full of jalapenos
Yeah.
until it's overflowing, and
Are
then
you
he
sure
pours.
it's jalapenos, not Scotch bonnets or
No,
Grim Reapers?
no, he
or-
starts out jalapeno. So he fills
They're
it-
not seeded by any means.
No,
Okay,
then
yeah.
he just dumps them in, fills it full of water, and boils it till it gets a little lower. And then once the jalapenos have reduced themselves, he starts adding Scotch bonnets and everything else. And I'm here to tell you, we love Chewy. We love Chewy's. I will warn anybody visiting, when we take you to Chewy's, order your drink and have it
First.
sitting in front of you.
Yeah, the funny thing is, when you go to Chuy's, they when they show up at your table the first time they show up, they're bringing the hot sauce and the chips, and then they take your drink order.
Yeah,
So now you've got 3-4 minute wait, staring at this, and it doesn't look hot. It looks.
Yeah, well, it depends on the shade of green.
That's true. So you're sitting there going,
you look at this yellow green sauce, yellow green pulp. It actually looks pretty good.
and this has gotten me every time because I'll sit there and
Me
go,
too.
you know what? My drink's on its way. It can't be that far off.
And I freaking love salsa. I love
Yeah.
picante sauce. I love chips and salsa. I love the fact in Texas they don't charge you for chips and salsa as God intended.
Yeah.
Apparently, in some other states they charge you for the chips and salsa.
And the salsa is half the time is ketchup.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or yeah, you know,
I know for a fact in Maine,
Yeah.
they
Oh, yeah,
consider
New York.
salsa ketchup.
Yeah, New York. But I'll be looking at this, and it's so innocent. And I'll take a chip, and Rita will go, baby, and I'll dip a corner in, shake it off, and crunch the chip, and then start whimpering for
as your tongue melts.
yeah,
And
blows,
sweat breaks out on your
blows a
forehead.
hole out the back of your head. And
Yeah.
that's, Rita, my little sweetie loves hot sauce. She loves heat more than I do. She can eat some stuff I won't touch, and she will not touch a hot sauce until her water gets there.
Yeah. She's smart like that,
Yeah.
unlike us.
And most of us will dip a corner of the chip in chewy sauce, shake it off, and eat it. And it's good. I've
Yeah.
seen one person get a big old scoop
Yeah.
of like you do normally with picante sauce and munch it down. And Jonathan was scrambling for his Dr. Pepper right after that.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, you'll ask the waitresses, "Hey, how's the hot sauce today?" And they'll go, "It's good.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good." Because I think they're in on the joke.
No, I think those little darlings, they've been
It's
eating,
mild to them.
Probably,
they've been Chewy. You know, Chewy feeds those girls,
Yes.
and they've been eating that hot sauce since they were 2.
Oh, good grief, Cedar. Salsa was really 10 tomato sauce.
That
She
sounds
said
like-
she stopped in Ohio and ordered salsa and it tasted like 10 tomato sauce. She
God.
asked, and it was.
That's
Well,
awesome.
That walking into that Mexican place in Watertown or Waterford or whatever the hell outside of Fort Drum, New York. There's the military town outside of Fort Drum, Watertown or Waterford or something. Walked in there and ordered chips and salsa because I was missing Texas. I got a plate full of Fritos
Mhm.
and a squirt of Heinz ketchup with black pepper stirred in.
Yeah.
I almost cried.
And Raptor goes, my mother would die in Texas. She's one of those people who thinks brown mustard is too spicy.
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. No. Okay. We've got folks moving here. Dot's one
Yeah.
that we are gently working on our heat tolerance.
Yeah.
She's got none.
She's getting better.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, I got that Texas caviar recipe.
Right. Oh,
Right.
that's good stuff.
Yeah. The funny thing is, the recipe calls for 1 jalapeno.
Yeah.
So Texas jalapeno is about 3.5 inches long, right? And every time I've made it, I've added a jalapeno to the recipe. I'm up to 5 or 6 now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
She hasn't noticed it, has she?
Well, the thing is, I make sure that I seed it completely and get
Yeah.
most of the plinth. So all you're getting is the flavor of the jalapeno and none of the heat.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of which, John, you might as well plan on coming over Saturday because I'm going to try to do your ribs Saturday.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
My turn to cook again.
And I've got 4 pepper plants, 2 Tamu Miles and 2 Mad Hatters.
Yeah.
And
They're both on the green pepper side of the Scoville scale.
the Mad Hatters are 500 to 1,000 SHUs.
Yeah, that's nothing.
And
Yeah.
It's nothing. And the Tamus are 1,000 to 1,500.
Yeah.
That's still,
They're very, very mild.
strawberries have a higher rating on Scoville.
A bell pepper is 0. A standard jalapeno is 8,000.
Bell pepper isn't 0.
For me, a bell pepper is 0.
Yeah, but if you look at the actual true
Yeah.
Scoville scale,
Yeah.
which is, you ever know, how they come up with that scale?
Yeah, they started diluting pepper with sugar water until the volunteers couldn't taste it anymore.
Yeah.
1 drop at a time.
Yep.
One. That's how you get. So you're looking at it at the, what is it? Carolina Reaper has a
Oh,
5
geez.
million
Yeah.
Oh,
Scovilles. So some poor
dumb bastard.
master's candidate
Oh,
graduate student had to sit there with an eyedropper
oh,
for 4 million
drops.
drops.
I don't think so. I
It
think,
may not, that may not be true, but it tickles my heart. Think of it that way.
But no, I've got these very mild peppers growing if I keep the damn ants out of my pots.
yeah, Josh, they're very mild. Cedar
No, very
says
extremely mild.
she taught herself to cook authentic Mexican, which is not monolithic, which is true,
No,
which
no,
is
no, no.
definitely true.
And there's a big difference between Tex-Mex and Mexican.
Yes.
Tex-Mex tends to be more of a masochistic challenge.
Yeah.
But you go down to Mexico, and you can tell, much like the U.S., you can tell where you are by the food.
Yeah.
The coastal food is much different than inland,
Mhm.
and South Mexican food is much different than North Mexican food.
Yeah. The one that I like, though, I still like, one of my favorite places to go was in Deming, New Mexico.
Okay.
Little place, little hole in the wall Mexican restaurant over there, Tex-Mex, called La Rosa. Oh, that was good. And I used to literally schedule my trips when I was transferring to go through Deming just so I could eat there. And I took the kids through there when they were little. And they might have gotten the wrong thing of salsa.
Now, Carlitos, Rita and I'll sit there and we will founder ourselves on salsa and chips before the food comes up.
All right. Brennan is bringing the wife with him. So we'll get a chance to take her out too.
Yeah, make sure heat tolerance is.
We'll be careful.
Well, we can adjust for her.
I really think that people that come to Texas need to adjust for the Texas food.
Well, yes.
The,
Oh,
my first,
I have hacked off so many of. Speaking of Texas, oh God, I hacked off so many of my
Oh, Josh, don't tell me they've gone out of business.
liberal-leaning friends.
here in Texas,
Yes.
good for you. What'd you do?
I did a post on the Senate passing the constitutional carry.
Yeah.
And we got some friends who have relatives that are hippies,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, you have got to be shitting me.
I put on the post. I said, you know, watching the media reaction or the comments to the media reaction to the Senate passing this, I've got one thing to say. I-10, I-20, I-30, I-40 go east and west. I-35, I-44 go north out of Texas. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And well, you need to be careful about people that just don't see things the way you do. No, I don't. If you
Yeah.
don't like Texas, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't come here to vote to change it different. We spent 150 years getting it just the
Just
way
right.
we
Yeah.
like it.
And guns, Texas and guns go together.
My first.
Oh, we have, Nancy, we have some good German restaurants here locally
Oh.
too.
Opus.
Opus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Buzz.
All right.
Oh.
We've wasted another hour of your time, folks.
Oh, we have. We get off on food. We just go
We
to
took
town.
it for like 45 minutes there, yeah.
Oh, fun.
Sorry about that.
Oh, and we've got a Greek place, and we've got several authentic Italian places
Yeah.
where they
Yes.
speak Italian in the kitchen.
The funny thing is it's not that big a city.
No,
No.
it's
No.
military. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a Korean barbecue, a Korean
oh,
place.
yes, we do.
A
Yeah.
Korean place where the
Where-
Koreans are running it.
Yeah, the
And
Kor-
Vietnamese place.
Right. With-
several of those.
And instead of the Mexican place with the Koreans in the kitchen, this is a Korean place with Koreans in the kitchen.
Yeah,
All right.
and the waitress does not speak English all night long.
Yeah.
No.
All right, folks.
Y'all be safe.
Y'all be safe. Have a good weekend. If you don't see anything on Tuesday, check MeWe, but we will be doing this on Tuesday. And remember, don't pet the sweaty stuff. Don't sweat the petty stuff. We'll see you later.
Be
Bye-bye.
safe, guys.
You want to go up